We are very excited about the acquisition that we closed just a few weeks ago, buying Market Medium, who is a solution vendor of rebate and channel management capabilities. These capabilities will now be basically rolled into the Vendavo suite of capabilities. And I can tell you, having worked in pricing for 20 years, this is a great addition to our overall capability set. So as you know, as many of you know, Vandavo is focused on solutions for commercial excellence. We've historically had a clear focus on solutions for supporting the negotiated selling process, the commercial process, and also capabilities for managing pricing back office activities, pricing administration. These capabilities for rebate management and rebate execution fit solidly into that capability set, and of course, complement even additional capabilities that we have related to commercial intelligence. What I think is unique about what we're talking about here today is this deep capability set for rebate management, which is really focused on rebate accounting and rebate execution, which is really a nice fit and extension around the focus that Vandavo has had on rebates inside of other areas of the commercial excellence kind of realm of capabilities. So, Vandavo has always been focused on that picture of rebate impact on net price inside of the selling process, managing the commercial process for negotiating, pricing with customers. Also, rebates have contributed, of course, to that gross to net picture and price setting, and have always played a role in our snapshot of net margin visibility inside of the analytics solution suite. So this is really a nice extension, kind of more into the world of rebate execution and rebate accounting. So if you think about pricing strategy in general, rebates really deserve a home in an overall rebates pricing strategy, or in an overall pricing strategy for most businesses. So they're a kind of unique tool within pricing to create creative incentives for customers to buy more. They're very effective in connecting and enforcing purchase commitments with customers by actually delivering a benefit that's directly related to actual transaction activity. And they've always been an effective tool for sellers in public pricing markets to mask end customer pricing effectively, while still enabling an ability to deliver that price that customers need to win business in that context. As well, in general, rebates are a great tool for just driving desired customer behavior in a number of different scenarios. And businesses that do a good job of using rebates and incentives typically realize a substantial benefit as a result of that. Anywhere from 8 to 12% increase in sales is a typical range of benefit. Now, despite all that value, for those of you who work with rebates, managing rebates can be a real pain in the butt. And this is mostly related to the administrative effort required to track these programs and the compliance required from an accounting perspective, when you're really kind of driving all of this calculation and all of these, really trying to determine what net revenue is for, incentives that are delivered in a substantially different time frame than the actual transactions that take place with your business. And if you look at how businesses typically have managed rebate programs, there definitely are some solutions to do that. But when we meet customers, they're mostly managing most of this activity in Excel, and there's a big risk associated with mistakes and overpayments from claims tracking, and just a kind of general inability often for businesses to understand the performance and effectiveness of these rebates that they're kind of managing in the business. So Vendavo Rebate and Channel Manager is all about solving those pain points. So firstly, it's about supporting seller strategy of using rebates as part of an overall approach to pricing. And of course, it's about complying with rebate accounting rules. That's relevant both for sellers and for buyers who have accounting responsibilities related to these programs as well. And this is about capabilities that minimize the administrative effort required to properly manage these programs by ultimately, minimizing the risk associated with errors in manual process. Now, I would point out, I'm going to be talking about rebate capabilities, rebate management capabilities today. But many of you in the audience are on kind of different sides of the rebate transaction. So the Vendavo solution for managing rebates is both relevant to customers who have for customer rebate programs, which is really where manufacturers or sellers are managing outbound programs for rebates and really trying to track the effectiveness of those programs and really comply with accounting rules in that context. But there is another side of the equation for our distributor customers, which is, as a distributor, it's complex in how you need to manage all of the inbound programs from different manufacturers as it pertains to your compliance with accounting rules. And the Vendavo solution for rebate and channel management really supports both of these scenarios. So capabilities that we're talking about here are really in three areas. The first is capabilities for managing the design of programs. Just being able to set up the basics of the different types of incentive programs that require tracking, and then assign those to specific customers for proper tracking and accounting. The second set of capabilities is related to really kind of managing the data within the process, both managing how these programs are comparing to inbound sales activity, as part of your own transaction data, enabling capabilities for managing claims information or sales data that is often shared between both sellers and their channel as part of the execution of these programs. And then, of course, all of the kind of associated effort to accruing properly for the impact of these incentives on financials, and making sure that this information is shared into a financial ERP. So that's really the kind of last set of capabilities, which is about not just accruing for this information, but managing the validation of claims within rebate processing, calculating the charges, delivering and validating and approving payments to those channel or retail partners for sellers, and really kind of tracking your application for those payments if you are managing inbound programs as a distributor. So if you haven't caught on to it by now, this is really all about rebate accounting. I mean, of course, you want to support your pricing strategy and use of rebates, but at the end of the day, businesses have a legal responsibility to comply with accounting rules. And there's really, three things that every business has to do. They first have to, clearly understand these rebate agreements that they have in place with different customers. They have to, basically account for the impact of those incentives on their revenue, so that they're accurately reporting in their financials income that applies to tax authorities and applies to investors. Accurate picture of what their net income is in the business. And then, of course, when you're estimating or accruing for the impact of rebates, you really need to put your best effort possible to make that best estimate at the time of the transaction, so that you're not restating revenue on a regular basis. And these are basically rebate accounting rules that are agreed upon globally. There's a standard called IFRS 15, which is basically the accounting rules for rebate accounting that have been released by the International Accounting Standards Board. And if you do not comply with rebate accounting rules, it can be costly to your business. So there's lots of examples of this. Here's just kind of one illustration for a manufacturer, for a seller, improperly accounting for rebates, paying a penalty of almost $80 million at Monsanto for inaccurately tracking Roundup rebates in a number of different countries. And then for distributors or retailers, there are also good examples, Tesco being one of them, where it can be quite costly to not properly account for the impact of rebates in your financials. I think every CFO really, doesn't want to have to restate revenue and go through this process, which is really why this capability set is so important. Okay, so let's really just kind of talk about the nuts and bolts as far as some of the features and capabilities of Vendavo Rebate and Channel Manager. So first of all, as I said, capabilities for managing those specific agreements for your channel or your customers, inbound and outbound, and tracking the proper accrual of revenue impact and the generation and management of that claims validation process and payment delivery into financial ERP. Really kind of having clear visibility around net margin in negotiation processes, capabilities for enabling your channel partners to participate in the solution directly, to really have a portal that they can visit to understand what claims they've submitted, the status of those claims and payments. Nice capability set in that area. And we also have special capabilities to manage deductions, which is kind of where a distributor would short pay an invoice based on the rebates that they believe that they have earned, and there's a whole validation process associated with that, and that is also addressed in the solution. And then capabilities to manage ship and debit, chargebacks, SPA-based pricing process, and I'll talk a little bit about that today. And then I would call it a special capability in the system, but we have a calculation engine that is very capable and able to deal with the high volume of these kind of rebate calculations that would be needed on a regular basis for folks who participate in these programs. All right, so I'm going to be talking about some different programs as an example in the solution in a moment, but let's first talk about the different types of rebates and incentives that we are able to manage with Vendavo Rebate and Channel Manager. So if I'm a manufacturer, I firstly have programs that are outbound incentive programs for my channel. I might be managing sales rewards or growth incentives, product mix or inventory management incentives for the channel. I might have incentives that are percent-based or dollar-based from a payout perspective, or I might also be managing things like agent, third-party seller or agent fees that might be playing a role in my business. These are programs that we can easily manage and address in the solution. As well, there are management capabilities associated with end customer rebate programs, either programs that pass through our distributor channel or programs that are direct to the customer. And then there are other programs such as SPA programs, where end customer pricing is either negotiated by manufacturer direct selling team or a distributor selling team, and that purchase is fulfilled through a distributor at an into stock price that is higher than a customer's end price. And there's essentially a credit process that would need to be managed as part of that incentive programs. All of these programs can be addressed by the Vendavo solution. Similarly, there's the other side of the transaction. If I'm a distributor, I'm managing these same programs on an inbound basis. I'm really kind of tracking all of the different rebate programs that I'm eligible for as a distributor. There's the accounting that I need to manage for those programs, for those pass-throughs, and for my claims back to my suppliers for these incentives that I've earned. So what I thought I would do today is just give you a quick glimpse of two common use cases in the solution itself. I thought I'd talk just briefly around rebate management as a topic, and then also talk a little bit about this SPA pricing, special price agreement process, which some people call chargeback process or billback process, or there's all sorts of different phrases for it depending on the exact industry you're in, but from a mechanics standpoint, they all kind of operate at about the same process. All right, so let's start with rebate management. And what I'm going to show you here is really just some of the basic capabilities that we have related to tracking these either outbound incentive programs for manufacturers, or again, from a distributor perspective, they would be kind of inbound programs that we're tracking. But at the end of the day, it's all about kind of understanding, the transactions for the customers, accruing for those earned incentives, and sharing that information properly with the financial system, while also just kind of managing that business process of claims, validation, approvals within this process from an execution standpoint, and ultimately either paying out to the channel or receiving those payments as a distributor. So what I'm going to do now is open up our solution. Okay, so here I am inside of what is really the archive of all of the kind of rebate agreements that I have with different customers. You see off on the left a number of different menu items that really kind of compartmentalize some of the different programs that I might be managing in the business. Later, we'll talk about SPA pricing or special price agreements, but I could also manage things like commissions and so forth. What I'm going to do now is really just kind of open up a deal that I have in draft. So I've got this agreement here, and this will give you, just I think a good overview of, some of the structure related to the tracking of these programs at the specific customer level. So what I have here is I have a program that I'm tracking as kind of an outbound manufacturer for distributor partner of mine, Amazon. I've got a bunch of different promotions or incentives that I'm tracking inside of the same program for that customer. So I've got marketing allowances, I've got percent-based rebates, and I've got dollar-based rebate structures that I am pulling into this deal. And what you can see at the bottom here is really how I'm connecting these general incentive structures to specific products that are being tracked as part of the agreement that I have with this distributor. So here I see I've got a product family rebate that is essentially a dollar-based reward per unit of sales. I've also got a marketing allowance that is being earned as part of the sale of any products at that product family level. I've also got a product line reward. So this is a box, cardboard box business. They've got a storage product family, and then they have a record storage product line where an additional rebate of 1% would apply for any sales at that product line level. I've also got some specific products within that product line that I'm either excluding from this program or even layering kind of an additional marketing allowance in this example. So as transactions take place in my business, the system is essentially tracking the sale of items at the family line or product level according to these terms, and will be ultimately directing a payout to different payout mechanisms, either AR credit memos or potentially checks. So I'm also able to set up kind of fixed fee arrangements if I've got like other kind of marketing or commission-based agreements that I might want to manage from a payout perspective. I'm able to, basically qualify the applicability of this program to different customers, to different geographies, and I'm able to basically manage, things like the payout frequency and the details associated with kind of exactly to whom these payouts should be distributed. If you might be working as part of a buying group or something like that. So now what I'm going to do is basically jump back out to the agreements archive, and I'm going to find an agreement that's active. So that last agreement we were looking at was a draft agreement. Now I'm going to pull up a customer agreement that is active and being tracked by the system. And when I do that, I'm not delivered to the details of that program as we saw previously. I'm essentially delivered to the activity summary for this program. So this is a program that is tracking sales to a particular distributor for a particular list of products, again with different program attributes applied. And the system is essentially generating this accrual activity and sharing that to the financial ERP. And I have good visibility around the accrual activity, at a monthly basis. In this example, I can, certainly kind of look back, to reporting for accrual activity on the basis of whatever kind of calendar options I might be interested in. And I also have a visual representation of these accruals. Now, it's the beginning of August, so I have no current balance of accruals. All of these accruals have actually been paid out. If I wanted to understand on a go-forward basis the impact of these rebates, there's also a nice capability in the system to essentially run a projection of what the value of this program would be if I looked forward on the basis of look back activity, to estimate what we think the impact of this program from a rebate perspective would be, going forward. And then, of course, I do have the ability to dig into the specific details of my claims and payout activity right here in the solution as well. So, I might, basically pick an individual, claim that was submitted, and I'd have a visibility here into, some of the rebate amounts or even the payment activity associated with that program. So, what did you see there? Really just a kind of nice summary around how the system tracks in an aggregate way all of this kind of rebate program activity in one place. It's nice to have a centralized archive, which of course supports that centralized understanding of this activity from a compliance standpoint. I showed a little bit around that claim receipt and kind of the validation process. There's certainly the capabilities inside of the solution to manage kind of approvals of these programs, the review of this activity, and then ultimately the payment of those claims, either on an automated basis or on a kind of manual review basis inside of the solution. And that's really what I wanted to show for rebates. So let's take a quick look at spot pricing, which again is negotiating an end customer price, fulfilling delivery of product to that end customer, but having to track a distributor who's owed a credit because they have actually paid a higher price than that customer price for their into stock inventory before they delivered it to that customer. So what we're going to do here is really just look very quickly at SPA agreement specifics, and then we'll show some of that ship and debit or chargeback claim tracking and validation that is available inside of the solution, as well as any approvals associated with that process and ultimately payments to our channel partner. So the first thing I'm going to do is access the SPA agreement archive. And what I'm going to do here is just pull up one such special price agreement. So in this case, you can see that this deal is pertaining to sales to a specific customer and is fulfilled through our distributor, Arrow Electronics. It's tracking the sale of a certain list of products. And here you see the details around that list price or that into stock price for the distributor and the customer net price that is being tracked for credit inside of this program. And we're basically going to look now at some claims information related to this TR10P wire harness that will show up in some of the sales activity for this distributor. And we'll note that we're basically selling at $190 for a $200 product. So this partner of ours will be due a credit of $10 per unit as part of that process. So what I'm going to do now is basically switch over to the claims tracking view. So this is an archive of the ship and debit claims associated with these special price agreements that have been established with a customer. And I am going to pull up an agreement here. It is 3064, which is tracking some of this sales activity for that wiring harness that was part of that original agreement. So what I see here is, essentially a set of claims information that has been submitted from my distributor partner. What I firstly have a visual ability to do is to see the validations that the system is making to make sure that that these products are kind of validated on a number of different dimensions. So what we're doing here is checking if this is a valid contract. This is an invalid contract check. This is a user authorized check. This is an out of date range check. This is a missing product check to make sure that that product is actually in agreement with this distributor for this customer. This is an inventory validation check to make sure that there is actually purchased inventory that pertains to that channel partner of ours. And then this is a price variance check. So, green means good. If I wanted to basically sort my list of claims validations to the items that didn't match, I'd certainly be able to do that. Here you can see some of the claims, really showed purchase prices for inventory that were maybe different than in the original agreement, or maybe showed kind of net sales price to the customer that varied from our original agreement. So a real nice way of kind of visually validating that data. But at the end of the day, what we're doing here is comparing the information that's been submitted from our distributor for this chargeback claim. We're comparing that to the system calculated data as to what per our agreements we believe the charges should be. And as part of the business process here, we're either deciding to pay out at our system derived rate, or maybe we would even accept some of that kind of claimed data. And of course, there's lots of other capabilities in the solution to manually override payments if that's desired as well. But once this validation has taken place, we can basically also manage the kind of settlement and payment related to these transactions as part of that claim validation process. So hopefully that gave you a pretty good snapshot of what I'd consider two common business processes for rebate management. Of course, the nice thing about being able to manage this chargeback process in the system is, again, it's kind of organized centrally. There's a lot of automation associated with the validation checks. There's a lot of capabilities here that enable an accurate accounting process in a proper enterprise solution for this activity to be carried out in a way that's more easily executed for an organization. Okay, and really just to summarize, there's lots of capabilities in the solution that I didn't really kind of cover in today's discussion. I just wanted to give you a snapshot of some of those capabilities. We can manage all sorts of different deal types, volume-based rebates, buy one, get one free. There's, salespeople are pretty imaginative in their ability to dream up these incentive programs. And some of the companies that we've met actually allow their sales team to be that imaginative. So, we've really tried to deploy here a capability that supports an ability to manage, all of these different types of scenarios that are often encountered for teams that are responsible for managing the execution of rebate programs. So what's unique about what we have to provide? I think you saw a taste of this. I think we have a really, convenient, streamlined, simple approach to managing these different templates for specific customer and rebate program detail. We have unique capabilities related to the management and validation of deductions, which is an added layer of complexity even over rebate print payments. We have a powerful calculation engine. We've certainly worked with customers who are replacing Excel, but we've also worked with businesses who are replacing other rebate systems, and we've kind of proven ourselves to deliver performance well in excess of what they had historically. And at the end of the day, we do really promote this ability for the different players in this process to be able to access their own view into this world. So enabling your channel partners access to the solution to see their submitted claims, to upload data, sales data directly to the solution, to see the status of their payments from an approval standpoint. These are all things that support a better experience for channel partners. And then I didn't really talk a little about it today, but from a setup standpoint, this is a solution that is clicks, not code configuration. So essentially user interface driven setup of programs and even configuration and setup of the solution. Really is a unique aggregate capability set for rebate management. When you think about this capability from an integration standpoint and how it fits with the organization, obviously Vendavo has a lot of experience, managing, the need to synchronize around your customer master, the suppliers that you work with, the product master as well. That is importantly a piece of connection points into the solution. But again, from an accounting side, this capability, really delivers the ability to deliver that accrual information in those financial payment triggers and details directly into a financial ERP. Talking to members of the rebate team, they would tell you that this solution really is a sub ledger of the financial ERP and is built to kind of operate in concert with that capability set. So, just to summarize, if you really think about the complete business process, this is all around designing and tracking agreements, managing the inbound data associated with sales, both internally and from the channel, doing those calculations associated with either accruals or payments, and sharing that information with the financial ERP. So this is really what this solution is about. And some of our customers, we have a good bit of experience in the CPG distribution space, which is kind of a new area of customer focus for Vandavo. But as well, I think I illustrated use cases that well serve manufacturers in their kind of management of outbound rebate programs as well.